The further we go along in this presidential race, the closer we get to the election, the more solidified people become in what they believe about their particular political candidate, and the more popular the people who promote the left propaganda lie and the right propaganda lie become. And one of those on the left is this kid named Adam Mockler, who works with the Midas Touch Network, and we see how hyper-viral they've become. He and Luke Beasley and Dave Pacman and Midas Touch, Brian Tyler Cohen on the left are all getting super popular. So when you become super popular and you start reaching out to more people and they gravitate toward these kind of people, it gets more and more dangerous. And that's why channels like this are required to cut through all the BS. So let's take a look at some of this criticism that Mockler has of Trump. And Trump is a frickin' psychopath, just like his sister Kamala Harris. And they are brother and sister in arms to devalue the dollar and trash the value of your time and labor. Make no mistake about it. He's a banker puppet. She's a banker puppet. And that means people like Adam Mockler are promoting banker puppets as they make fun of the other puppet in this WWE style psychological operation.
I have to sit there and listen to her bullshit last night.
All right, Trump took the stage for his rally in Wisconsin and immediately began swearing. He was extra angry today, angry at Fox News, angry at VP Harris, angry at the world around him, as he always is. And with 38 days to go until the election, he's not focusing on the economy or how he can help everyday Americans. No, he's focusing on his political vengeances. He's calling VP Harris mentally impaired and taking it to a new low. Donald Trump is dragging American politics down to a new level, and us with it.
By the way, somebody like this has no understanding of the economy because they're usually immersed in Keynesian economic philosophy. So what you got here is a promotion of democracy, which is basically a party where everybody votes for more cake today, not caring that there's not going to be a bakery tomorrow. So it's all, hey, I got to get my stuff and I got to get it now. It doesn't matter what the economy looks like in 5 or 10 years or how devalued the dollar has gotten, if we even have a dollar and we haven't moved over to the CBDCs.
The election is rapidly approaching and we have zero time to waste, so make sure you subscribe, make sure you drop a like to boost this pro-democracy message, and let's jump right in with this clip.
It's the pro-slavery message. Make no mistake about it. And same with the other side, with the pro-conservative message. It's the pro-vote for the chains of your own oppression message.
Of Trump not even dog whistling, but using an all-out bullhorn, pushing the great replacement theory, saying that we're going to lose our culture due to immigration. Watch this clip.
Look, you got to do what you got to do. You got to get these people back where they came from. You have no choice. You're going to lose your culture. You're going to lose your country. You're going to have crime, the likes of which nobody has ever seen before.
Okay, so broadly speaking, we're not going to lose our country or our culture. The best part of...
Yeah, because we already have. We did back in 1913. The monetary system is controlled by a private banking cartel known as the Federal Reserve. They're centralized bankers, and they control the issuance and value of your currency. Tell me you still got a country left. Tell me this is still the land of the free, home of the brave. And also tell me why you don't talk about this, Adam. Why David Pacman, you don't talk about this. Brian Tyler Cohen. Why Piers Morgan or anybody on the right doesn't talk about this.
Of America is that we can integrate many different cultures into one large melting pot. Secondly, he says we're going to have crime like we've never seen it. Immigrants commit crimes at lower rates than native-born citizens, oftentimes because they come to the U.S. trying to make a better life for themselves. They have kids. They have a family. Trump is trying to paint all immigrants as these hardened criminals. And thirdly, every time he says that we have to send them back, just keep in mind, he's mainly talking about these Haitian migrants in Ohio that were legalized under his administration, through a program that his administration expanded federally. And when it comes to the Great Replacement theory, it's this conspiracy theory that either Democrats or sometimes Jewish people are trying to import different cultures to replace the white culture. So when Trump says you're going to lose your culture, he is trying to preserve some vague concept of a white culture. I don't know what he's talking about here other than just straight racism. In this next clip, Donald Trump talks about the black population and their jobs, more dog whistles or bullhorns.
But what they're doing to us, and I saw that. It's also the fact that they're taking all of our black population's jobs and our Hispanic population's jobs. You haven't seen the real job numbers yet. And I said this also 2 years ago. I said, these people that are coming across the border illegally by the millions are taking the jobs of the black population of America and the Hispanic population of America. But
it is a rare talent to try to defend one group from another, but in the process end up insulting both groups and the intelligence of all Americans. Also, I love when he says, you guys haven't even seen the real job numbers yet, implying that there's some massive cover-up and the government is hiding the actual job numbers. I mean, it's
Yeah, because the government would never hide actual job numbers. The government would never use statistics as a baseball bat to club Americans and deceive us with, right? The government would not do that because the government's always telling the truth. The government is always responsible. The government is always transparent. Adam, what are you thinking, man? What are you thinking?
Absolutely insane to me. Why weren't they hiding it when the economy wasn't too hot 2 or 3 years back? Also, listen to how he says the word black. It just gives it all away.
Taking all of our black population.
Why does he put so much emphasis on that word? There is no need for that. Trump then calls Joe Biden mentally impaired and says...
Interesting how they get hung up on the smallest things. When the biggest, most blaring thing is we got to deal with the centralized banking cartel. We got to deal with all the criminality and the corruption in Washington's District of Criminals. We have to start cutting spending. We can't keep taxing Americans to death. We can't keep going to wars. We can't keep exporting our dollars to foreign countries in the guise of foreign aid. All that stuff has to be addressed.
VP Harris was born that way.
Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way. Okay. She was born that
Just bullying.
It is all unnecessary. Kamala does it to Trump. Trump does it to Kamala. They do this in all presidential elections. This is the WWE dog and pony show, big top under the circus that makes everything interesting. The elites know that these elections have to keep the people engaged. It has to keep people talking. There have to be these little clips that we can keep on playing so that it gets everybody excited about this coming up election. What's going to happen? Let's get glued to our TVs. Let's vote for the chains of our own oppression. That's how we're going to change things, by doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result.
And if you think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country. Anybody would know this.
There is no shot this guy can win the election, but then again, he made fun of a disabled reporter back in 2016 and still won then. We have another clip to play, but first, I mean, this one really pisses me off because I argue with Republicans in my life all the time about which party is more divisive. In fact, a lot of Republicans in my life think that I'm divisive because...
Which party is more divisive? Let's see, Team Red or Team Blue? The fact that they both exist means that they're inherently divisive because they're there. Democrats are divided from Republicans. Republicans are divided from Democrats and independents. That's what politics is about. It's inherently divisive. Divide, conquer. That's how you conquer a nation, by dividing them. And one of the best ways you can divide them is through religion and politics. Which party is more divisive? Give me a frickin' break. That's mockable, Adam Mockler.
I make content. Now, I show them my clips of me at MAGA rallies. I'm a very nice person at the MAGA rallies, but they think that I'm divisive. Meanwhile, they conveniently ignore Donald Trump calling VP Harris mentally disabled, calling Joe Biden mentally impaired, saying that they are Marxists, communists. Republicans say that all Democrats are groomers or rapists or whatever they want to say about us. Meanwhile, I just want more health care for people, so that is why this particularly pisses me.
That means you're a thief. If you want more health care for people, that means you want the government to do more. And the government can only do what it can do by stealing from others. It's extortion. They use the barrel of a gun to steal money from a group of people and then give it to another group of people. It's called wealth redistribution. It's anti-free market. It's anti-freedom, and it's pro-tyranny. So when you're asking the government to do something, even if it looks like a good thing, you're asking the functionaries in government, the agents of government, to engage in criminal activity so that you can get what you want today, as it devalues the time and labor of every single American.
Me off, because this clip isn't going to be seen by most Republicans, and even if I did send this clip to my friends, they would be like, oh, that's how he is, he's just a funny dude. But no, this is how he bullies people. And when this bully side of him manifests in situations where he's supposed to be a diplomat on behalf of the American people, that is when the real trouble comes in. For example, yesterday is a perfect example. Zelensky visited the US and Trump just bullied him. There was no diplomacy whatsoever, and here's Trump.
Oh, you mean Zelensky, who is a part of the American regime change operation, which started, at least, as far as we know, back in 2014 under the Obama administration. That Zelensky, the Zelensky who's been given boatloads of the product of the time and laboring energies of every single American when things are left undone here in America. That Zelensky, the Zelensky who heads up one of the most corrupt government regimes on the entire planet to date.
Still talking about his crowd sizes and people leaving throughout this rally. It's so funny to me because VP Harris and her team obviously crafted that jab at the debate to get in his head and bait him during the debate. But the debate was weeks ago and Trump is still harping on the crowd sizes.
It's something special. But outside, we have thousands and thousands of people. Would anybody love to give up their seat? So we were going to have a thing outside someplace in an area where we could have held the people. And I would say, what do you think, 40, 50,000 people at least out there. This went almost all the way to the airport. And it looked like when Lindbergh landed in New York. Do you remember that? He had all the way, the Broadway, the way they used to do it. And this looks like it, but thousands and thousands of people.
Watch, he's about to bring up people walking out. That's how you know he's triggered.
And they all could have had a lot of fun. Instead, now they're probably leaving and walking back home.
Also, look how his hair is purple.
Because we have a nice little room that probably holds 1,500, 2,000, maybe less.
So he just got done criticizing Trump for criticizing Kamala Harris on these little piddly issues, and he's going to point out the fact that Trump's hair is purple. Well, why'd you do that, Adam? What was the reason for that?
And outside you have 40, 50,000 people. Because
I mean, just when you're involved in these political escapades, you are a hypocrite.
Because the administration couldn't give us the Secret Service necessary because they're guarding the Iranian president.
Imagine having a 1 hour slot or a 90-minute slot to speak to someone at a rally, and you spend 15 of those minutes talking about crowd sizes, 15 of the minutes talking about yourself in different awards, 10 minutes calling VP Harris.
I've sped this up to 1.25.
Harris mentally impaired. I mean, this man talks about no actual policies, and this is him cussing because Fox News boosted VP Harris's speech yesterday in Arizona, and it's absolutely wild to me that Trump is trying.
Let's say a president had impeccable policies. We are going to end the Fed. We are going to end the income tax. We are going to eliminate the IRS. Let's say that there was a president that said all the right things. All of his policies were perfect. We're gonna stop the entangling alliances. We can't afford to give money to foreign countries. We are going to balance our budget. We are going to stop the overspending. We are going to limit government. What if he said everything right down to the wire was absolutely correct? You couldn't trust any of them because politicians are liars. Even if you voted for something that, hey man, why wouldn't you be for this? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you voting for even if you vote for that guy, you are insane. And nobody even comes close to saying anything like that. We're going to stop all the wars. We're going to bring all the troops home. We're going to return to sound money based on gold and silver and all these the precious metals. Even if they said all the right things, you can't believe them because politicians are liars. We don't need masters. We don't even have anything close to that today in the Republican or the Democrat Party. But they're still going to go for it. And there's still going to be people like this. This kid's a millionaire. If you look at his views, just in AdSense, not counting whatever Midas Touch gives him, this guy's making probably $150,000, maybe $200,000 a month. But he's able to do it because people lap this left versus right dog and pony nonsense up like they are stray dogs who haven't had a bowl of water for 3 days.
Trying to leverage his position as the Republican nominee and as someone who has the entire Republican Party wrapped around his finger to try to nuke Fox News. So whenever Fox does something that Trump doesn't like calling Arizona early in 2020 or showing a VP Harris speech, he tries to rile up the Republican fan base, so then they go to an even farther right news station. I've been to MAGA rallies where people tell me, Fox News is a little too left-wing for me. I only watch Newsmax now. What does that tell you? That is so scary.
And I have to sit there and listen to her bullshit.
It tells me that these people are in a cult of personality to such an extent where whatever their leader says, they will follow. Same thing with Camp Harris.
And I have to sit there and listen to her bullshit last night. And who puts it on? Fox News. And they shouldn't be allowed to put it on. It's all lies.
They shouldn't be allowed to put it on. Trump has used a pattern of rhetoric like this. After the debate with ABC where Kamala wiped the floor with them, he said that ABC needs their license stripped away. He constantly attacks the media, and now he says Fox News shouldn't be allowed. That is incredibly weird, and Jesse Waters aired both
It's tyrannical. I mean, I agree with Mockler on this. It's tyrannical. An outlet shouldn't be allowed. That lets you know where the mindset of Donald Trump is. Remember when he made it illegal? He made anti-Semitism illegal. In other words, you couldn't even criticize Israel on college campuses, thus eliminating the First Amendment right to freedom of speech on college campuses if you uttered a word of criticism against that place in the Middle East. That's where he's at. He is anti-First Amendment. He's anti-freedom of speech. No, but who's going to disallow it, Donald? How will you do that without exacting and enforcing tyranny on the land?
their speeches last night. That is sort of how a democracy should work. I mean, I don't want to praise Fox News, but a normal news station should do that. Air both of the speeches at the same time. In this speech, Trump says that Kamala's a bad person, and someone in the crowd yells she's stupid, and Trump affirms them. I mean, he affirms the bullying people.
She's incompetent and a bad person, but she's incompetent, grossly incompetent. She's a Marxist. You're right. She's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor.
You can barely hear her, but someone yelled out she's stupid.
Professor? Think of it. Defund the police. She started the movement. This is a woman that we cannot allow to have in this. If she gets in, our country is finished.
You know what I think is so interesting about all these statists, left and right, talking about, oh, that's socialism. That's not socialism. There are elements, strong elements of socialism in every single government, because all socialism is massive wealth redistribution at the barrel of a gun. That is what socialism is. And there are elements. We're not a completely socialist country, obviously. Look at the means of production. There's private means of production and control there. But there are socialist elements within which automatically makes us not the land of the free, home of the brave, because if you have an unstoppable force like government issuing edicts and redistributing wealth at the barrel of a gun, that's socialist in nature. And a stepping stone to communism, outright communism, is socialism.
Remember, there's a hat that's made that sells like crazy. Oh, there's a fly. Oh, I wonder where the fly came from. See, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have had to fly up here. You're changing rapidly.
Because you smell like shit now, as Adam Kinzinger would say. You're changing.
So what did you just do there, Adam Mockler? You just did to Trump what you condemned him for doing to Kamala, which makes you a freaking hypocrite. But you don't care. You don't care. None of your ilk cares. As long as you're getting that big fat paycheck, you're going to sell your souls. You're going to walk away from principle every single time. You're not going to do what is right. You're going to constantly promote what's evil.
Changing rapidly. Yeah, you're deteriorating in front of our eyes. In this clip, Trump is attacking DeWine.
It can't work.
You know what? I don't care about presidential mental deterioration. You know what I care about? Is that individual sold out to the central banking cartel? Is that individual sold out to the big prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex, the big pharma industrial complex? That's what I want to know. I don't care. I wouldn't care if a chimp was in the White House. Things couldn't get worse. But we know that it's not the person who sits behind the desk resolute that calls the shots. The people who call the shots are the people who control the issuance and the value of these things.
Go and take a look at Springfield. Go and take a look. And the governor's a Republican. He's a nice man. I helped him very much. Without me, he wouldn't have been elected. But he's taken an attitude like, oh, isn't it wonderful? You got to do what you got to do. You got to get these people back where they came from.
He said it's going to be a bloody process multiple times. We get it, man. Here's another clip where Trump talks about if I wanted to win and wanted to prosecute people that cheat, we could.
We got to make sure there's no cheating, and we're working hard on that. We got more lawyers. We got more people watching. And I told him, if we win and when we win, we're going to prosecute people that cheat on this election.
Okay, so Trump doesn't trust the courts. He doesn't trust the DOJ or the FBI. So I have a few questions here. Who is going to be investigating the election fraud? Who is going to be convicting people of election fraud? Will there even be convictions? Who will be the ultimate arbiter of whether or not somebody cheated in the 2020 election? Because if it's Donald Trump, we are in big trouble. I might personally be in big trouble. If it's the people around Trump, like Rudy Giuliani, if it's Mike Lindell, I'm totally in trouble. Let's play the rest of this clip.
And if we can, we'll go back to the last one, too, if we're allowed. But we're going to prosecute people, so at least they know that's going to happen. And I said that because we have to have strong borders. You need two things, strong borders and fair elections. And we have neither. But we're going to do numbers too big to rig, right? Too big to rig.
No thanks to you, the person who shot down Langford's bill and the one who wants to remove all of these different voting mechanisms without coming up with any solutions on how to fix them. See, Trump has repeatedly said that we need to get rid of mail-in ballots. We need to go back to paper ballots, but he never provides any sort of real solution other than get rid of it. When you just want to get rid of something, that is not an actual solution. Either way, if you guys enjoyed this video, if
you want to get rid of the corruption, you return to a sound money system. I know that's not popular. I know that's not sexy to say. One of the reasons that I cover videos like this is, look, it's only been out for 19 hours. He's got almost 1 million views, over three quarters of 1 million views on this video, and just glaring compliments in the comment section. So one of the ways that you combat lies is by telling the undiluted truth. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, grab a shirt, become a channel member, but more importantly, understand what your rights are, understand what sound money is, understand what real economic principles are, and understand that politics is inherently divisive. I will see you in the next video.